Well, we're having a great time here today talking to women, phenomenal women who are making their mark in the media industry. Now, we're going to shift gears and talk a little bit about women in radio. And joining me today is Chicago's very own V103 personality, First Lady. Thank you so much for being here. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm so glad to have you here because we're having a great time today talking about women in media because it is a male dominated field.
Yes.
No matter what aspect of media that we're talking about, and you've made your mark in radio.
Yeah.
Yes,
and it hasn't been as difficult as most people would think, mainly because of the approach that I took.
Okay.
I started out as a female DJ first.
Okay.
And my approach was simply to challenge the guys that were already doing it. So I actually approached a guy named Farley Jackmaster Funk, and I said, "How come there are no women DJing on the radio?" And he said, "Make me a tape." So I made him a tape, and that's how I got on the air. It was just through a challenge because I never saw it as something where he was not going to allow me the opportunity, but I knew closed mouths didn't get fed, I needed to ask.
Right.
And I was about 18 at the time, and so that was my induction into being on the radio. And from that moment, then I got bitten by the bug when I started watching them in the studio talk on the microphone. And when I realized that talking on the microphone, you were speaking to millions of people.
That's right.
And they could hear you.
Imagine that.
And sometimes they would talk back, they would call you. And so I enjoyed that part. So I started to explore that aspect. And fortunately, there were other women that were there, like Chili Childs and Madonna Tittle and Irene Mojica, Yvonne Daniels, that had already opened all those doors for me. It was just that I was the young gun coming in.
Wow.
And so it was nice to have other women that could take you by the arm and say, "Look, you don't do this, you do this, you don't do that, you do that, and this is how you present this way, and this is what you talk about." So the guys pretty much, your Doug Banks, your Tom Joyners, they pretty much let us do what we do. Mainly,
That's wonderful.
I think because the women were so strong, they didn't want to go.
Well, they were intimidated.
I was just I think
yeah.
that was because you earned your seat at the table.
That's
right.
That's
So,
right.
did you ever go through any of that? The men, women versus those type of issues?
I think I'm starting to go through it more now with, but on the DJ end,
Gotcha.
not on the on-air personality end.
Really?
Because now you're starting to see women that are doing their own morning shows. They're doing nationally syndicated shows.
Right.
Whether it's talk radio or music radio. You have women owning radio stations now.
That's true.
So the women, if you will, we are out there. We are owning. We're taking control. So it's not so much there now. It's in the DJ world. Trying to get on the ticket with the guys, trying to let them know we can bang out, so to speak.
That's right.
In the music.
Just as good as they can.
Just as good.
Right.
We can rock a crowd just like they can.
That's right.
When I was younger, that wasn't such an issue.
Right.
Now it is more. You get more of a, we'll have one token girl on the ticket, and so it's a little difficult. I don't know why.
Yeah,
and it's not everywhere. It's not everywhere.
And do you think it's just localized to this area, Chicago, that you find that kind of antagonism, if you will, between the male and female DJs?
I think it's really more of a mindset of who's in control of booking the DJs.
Okay.
Because there are some women who won't book men, so which is bizarre. I'm like, isn't it more about the party? Same thing in programming, or even like with your show.
Exactly.
It's about the numbers. It's about the bottom line of making the money, having a successful show, putting out a great product.
Yes.
So when you start to say women, men, black, white, straight, gay, you shortchange the audience, and then your product or what you're trying to present, it loses.
That's true.
So
That's true.
I was in Amsterdam in October. For the Amsterdam Music Festival. I love going there because Amsterdam is the most wonderful. Anything goes. I don't care what it is. It's okay.
Yeah.
So
that's why my husband loves it so much. He's trying to go back.
Keep away from that weather. That's right.
You just helped them.
But there's a different kind of freedom there, but the women that I talk to that are DJs and presenters over there, they talk about some of the same struggles that we have in the States.
Mhm.
You know, the same thing of trying to get booked on the ticket, the same thing of trying to get the venue to give their event. You know, so it's really it really just depends on who's in control
Right.
at that time.
You know, I find that interesting because we've often seen that our overseas counterparts tend to be more open-minded,
Yeah.
and generally tend to be more accepting of things such as women being, viewed as equals and all, racial equality and the like. I find it interesting that when it comes to this media industry, once again, women have a hard way to go.
Yeah, I think that we are savvy, so we figure it out.
Yeah.
Yes.
And again, it's in your approach. So you learn through trial and error which roads to go down,
Right.
which battles are worth fighting, which you just leave alone. And you team up with people who are like-minded. For me, when I went there, I played in the mostly gay clubs. And I enjoyed myself. I had a great time. Why? Because they came with the mentality to party.
Right. And it wasn't, they didn't care about the gender.
They didn't care if I was straight. They didn't care if I was a
Right.
size 6 or a size 25 or 20. They didn't care about any of that. All they cared was, are you gonna play this music? You better play this music. And it's the same thing, like listening to. I also worked with a station, an online station in the UK called SG1 Radio, and I helped them out a lot with their SG1 Soul, which is basically all US music.
Right.
So it would be kind of like a V103,
But
with a
in the
little
UK.
Motown mixed in. Yes, but it's basically all our music. So I helped them out with that. And the guy who owns the company, he really prefers to work with women. Why? Because we're more dedicated. We work harder. We know how to balance. We know how to multitask.
True.
And it's not that men can't do it.
It's just innate in
It's just in our nature
yes,
to be
yes.
able to, walk, chew gum, talk on the phone, wash the dishes, drive the car.
Absolutely.
So I'm enjoying that opportunity of being able to give other people an opportunity to be on the radio. And with online streaming stuff now, and it being free, and the internet is all over the world,
Of course.
anybody can be heard anywhere, and that includes women. So now, in working at Illinois Media School, I have students who are on the air, who are almost ready to be out there. And so I'm in a position to give them an opportunity. And that's kind of my pay it forward, or pay it backwards. Pay it forward, pay it backwards.
We'll go with forward.
Right.
We'll go with forward.
Yeah. Whether they're black, white, Latino, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
It's an opportunity for you to get out there and to be heard, not just in Chicago, but to be heard all over the world.
Which is absolutely
And to have an
wonderful.
impact.
And have an impact.
And that's the most important
That's the
part.
most important part. So if you had to give a woman right now, young woman, older woman, it doesn't matter, that's ready or feels she's ready to break into the radio industry as a personality, or maybe she wants to become a DJ like you and break into that industry, what advice would you give her right now if she's just starting out?
I would say, look at what's out there already and figure out where you fit in, because we don't need another Beyonce.
Right.
We don't need another First Lady.
Right.
We don't need another Nicki Minaj.
Right.
We need another you, or you're the first you.
I love
So
that.
figure
Yes,
out
fabulous.
what you offer that's different. Because if you're the same, I don't need you.
Exactly.
Know your worth. Know what you bring to the table. Don't deal with people who only bring their appetites to the table.
Come on.
You got to put some food on it if you want to take some off of it.
That's right.
And then mostly believe in yourself, even when other people don't. I don't care how crazy your idea is of what you want to do for your show, or the kind of music you want to play or make. Do it, because there's online streaming. You can own your own station. You can have your own YouTube channel. I mean, look at you. You've got your own. You got your own show. You're doing your own thing. You did a show. So the opportunities are there.
Unlike before.
Exactly.
If the door is closed,
That's right.
don't worry about it, because there's a window.
Yeah,
That's
right.
Just go out the window.
Love
Don't worry
it.
about
Love
it.
it.
You
Love
wanna
it.
get out. Yeah, you can get out of the world.
I love it. I love
And
it.
once you start to to progress within whatever your career is. Don't forget about the people that helped you, and always remember that there are little girls that are watching you.
Yes. And you have to be mindful of
and
that.
everything you do, and they're gonna, hopefully they'll want to imitate what you're doing.
Yes, yes, that's so true. Well, First Lady, I thank you so much for spending time. 'Cause I know you have to work tonight. So I thank you for squeezing us into your schedule and sharing this knowledge and this expertise, because I know it's going to benefit probably hundreds, if not thousands, of people watching right now, especially women who are trying to break into this industry. It's not easy, but you're an example of success, and we so appreciate you.
Thank you. It's not perfect, but it's worth it.
There
That's
you
right.
go. There you go. Well, everyone, we're going to be back with more great information about women in media today. We'll be right back.